In this week's Bleach, Zaraki breaks out his Shikai.
You do understand that a very painful death awaits you.
Bleach chapter 667, Bigger, Louder, Stronger, flashes back to Zaraki waking up in the healing tube and busting his way out. Get me out of here! He steps out, but we cut to Ikaku and Yumichika, who can't believe Zaraki has already made it ahead of them.
Oh my god, how did I get here?
Now Thor is yelling after his arm was cut off, but he's able to grow it back, so he's okay.
Okay, I think we can do better than that.
His arm is now stronger as Byakuya explains to Hitsugaya that he has the ability to regenerate wounds and make himself stronger. And all Hitsugaya got out of that was that Thor used to be much smaller. Again, with the height fixation.
It's time to stop, okay? No more.
Zaraki doesn't give a shit what his power is and decides he'll just dice him up into tiny pieces. Hitsugaya is not a fan of this idea.
You know I have to stop you.
Hitsugaya tries to tell Zaraki that if Thor were to grow bigger and fall, he'd obliterate all of Soul Society. But Zaraki thinks he'd still be slicing him up even on the way down.
Be still, young Isaac Newton. Think any harder and you might hurt yourself.
Thor's mighty foot appears to come down on the two at that moment and crush them.
Crushed it.
But Zaraki proves he's the fucking man by holding up Thor's foot and managing to push him back.
Now you're a man!
Zaraki leaps into the air and says he didn't come for a lecture. He's ready to go big and see what the inside of this guy's head looks like, but is stopped by his shield.
Fight back, you coward!
The shield flings Zaraki across the city, and Thor decides to pull out his weapon as it's fitting to use on such a sadistic enemy.
Do you like my sword, 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 my diamond sword, sword?
This is getting Zaraki all excited as he removes his eye patch and releases Nozarashi.
God, I have such a hard-on right now.
He heads towards Thor while Hitsugaya and Byakuya are surprised by his Shikai and discuss that Zaraki's assumed constant release state never existed.
I want to let that sink in for a second.
We then see an epic clash between Zaraki and Thor's enormous weapons.
Dude, no way, this thing is so epic!
Zaraki manages to once again push back on Thor, but something isn't right this time.
You made a serious mistake.
Not as serious as yours.
Zaraki went and put a nick in Thor's sword, which apparently results in damage on the inflictor's body.
Well, I feel fine. I guess I'm gonna be...
So this week's chapter was okay for me. Some kind of funny moments involving Hitsugaya interacting with Zaraki and Byakuya. Zaraki was cool as hell, being able to lift Thor's foot and releasing Nozarashi and finally removing his eye patch. We learned that they've got to find a way around Thor's regeneration or it could lead to him falling and crushing all of Soul Society. So someone with Zaraki's fighting style can't necessarily beat him. At this point, I believe the only way to take care of Thor hasn't even been revealed yet. Someone's gonna show up and reveal some kind of power that can either seal Thor or totally counter his regeneration ability. Sorry, Zaraki, you had your big fight with Gremmy. Unless you go Bankai, I think you've had enough.
Well, I'll tell you when I've had enough!
And to go along with Thor's regeneration power, the end showed us something with his Sword of Hope. Zaraki put a tiny nick in it and his torso was completely sliced. So we see more problems in trying to beat him. He can regenerate stronger, he's got a big ass shield to defend, and a sword that even if it takes damage will hurt the enemy. What else should we expect from the possible Heart of the Soul King? I think Zaraki will tough out that cut, but next week we'll probably end with someone new joining the fight, possibly to help end it.
You can fucking shoot me, but you just can't, motherfucker. Kill me!
So I'll give this chapter a 7.5 out of 10. Zaraki unleashed Nozarashi, Thor's got an overload of abilities, and the Sword of Hope may have stopped Zaraki quickly. For my question of the week, what will be done to prevent Thor from getting too big and destroying Soul Society? Favorite comments always featured in the next review. Here are last week's winners. Alright, that does it for me. Remember to comment, like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. I'll be back next week with Nozarashi versus the Sword of Hope. Peace!